Alright, so let's start with, I don't know really what I'm doing here. I have never built a game before, I have never built a 3D game engine before, but it sounded fun, so why not? So this is Prism. This is a 3D game engine that I'm developing, and I'm just going to talk about the most recent release. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to record on in the future. Maybe sort of like a blog / release update. I have no idea, but we'll see how this goes. So this is the code. Here's some releases. So I'm just going to demo some of this new stuff in this current release. So let's jump over to the code. There is an example project or game thing in the code. Nothing too fancy, but just to see something visual on the screen. And it's not really organized, so yeah, this is just a scratch pad. So first things first is I need to generate some terrain. And there is a terrain generator that does that. Again, I'm just going to look at the new stuff, so we'll kind of skip past all these. The thing I really want to show is the camera. So I'm going to go down here to the camera. Now, here is my box cube that I have in the scene, which we'll see in a moment. And I have some material, and I've given some controls to move it. And I've also added a camera. Now by default, you can just add a camera onto any entity and it'll work. It'll give you like a first person view. And because I have a player movement component attached to it, I can use the keyboard to move it around. However, if I wanted to give like a third person view, then I can add this. And that will give me like a 3D view, a third person view. I can kind of zoom in and out, I can change the tilt of the camera and change the angle at which I'm looking at the person. So that's kind of cool, and you can see that's it. There's literally nothing else to do. You add the camera and you add the camera controls. There are technically some other things, but we'll get that in just a minute. So that's the camera. Now the next thing is I added in this new input system. So with the input system, all of the input now is sort of routed automatically, which is really nice. So I have a person entity here, and I can add this new input subscriber component onto it, and the person will automatically start getting events for input. And then the input gets routed to any other component on the person that accepts the input. So for example, if I can find it here, so yeah, okay, player movement, where is everything? So in the player movement, it includes this input receiver, and all that does is say it has this method here, and this takes in the time, the input information, and the entity that is in question. So here, then, I can get the transformation, I can change the transformation, I can rotate it, etc. So all this does is it takes the input and I can work on it. So this is great. I don't have to manually connect my input hardcode stuff into this. I can just say, hey, this takes some input, and this subscribes to the input, and voila, that's it. So those are kind of the two big things that I wanted to demonstrate, and later I might actually do some tutorials on making, like writing some code, but for now we'll stick with this. So here is the example program that I have running, and you can see this third person view. So I can zoom in, I can change the tilt of the camera, and I can also change the angle. So I can move my block here and I can just change how I'm looking at him, and otherwise he can just move around. I can even jump off of these. So this is the kind of a combination of the input and the camera updates that I've been doing. So it's still pretty new and needs a lot of work. And there are a couple bugs. For example, if I rotate it, yeah. So it's not perfect, but anyway, this is just what I have so far, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, hope you like it.